In here is the Fifine. It's okay, I can't spell either. K678 USB microphone. And Fifine said I could have one of these if I did a review. The question is, do I even want one? Hey, I'm Steve. I'm a multi-platinum producer mixer. We're building a community here of like-minded producers, creative engineers, and artists. And if that's you and you're putting stuff out into the world, I've got nothing but respect for you. So that's why I'm going to tell you what I really think, and I'm going to let you hear this so you can decide for yourself. So it's not plastic, it's metal. The stand is also metal, and these screws here actually don't feel cheap. So you can anchor that where you want. On the bottom, there's a USB. This cable goes into it. And there's a headphone jack. There's a mic level, an input level to your computer, and a headphone level. And on the back side, mute button. I think what's interesting about this, the symbol that they used is a 0 with a slash through it. To a recording engineer, that probably would represent a polarity reversal switch. You might not know what that is, but bad choice of symbols. I should also mention it comes with this adapter, and that screws into here, and then you can connect this to a regular mic stand, which is far more suitable, especially if you're going to be singing on it, because putting it on a desk and singing is probably not the way you're going to use it. So let's plug this in and see how easy it is to get going with the computer. USB in. Oh, I can see the lights turned on. It shows up right away. So I haven't installed any software. Let's see if... Oh, I don't want that. I want this. And, oh, I see level going in. And this is something people miss. This is where you control the level on the computer. There also is this knob here, but this is a preamp. And preamps and little microphones like this don't tend to sound super awesome. So this might be a good place to start with this volume all the way down. See how that works. So let's call setup super easy. Okay, let's talk about setting up in Logic. I've opened a fresh Logic session. You go to Audio, Preferences, Audio, and it appears here. I didn't have to configure anything. Here it is as the input device. I'm going to leave the output device on built-in output so that I can run it through the system. I've plugged in some headphones so I can hear what's going on, and we'll arm the track. And you should be able to hear it now. So let's call setting this up in Logic, again, super easy. Let's see what happens. Oh, I didn't even know that. That's interesting. So the side with the knobs on it is the back part, and the side with the mute, you can hear that, is where the, you get a bit of a click when you turn it on, but that's the front. Okay, that's interesting. I mean, as long as you know that, that's good. So what's it sound like? Well, if I sing too much, you'll leave. But let's try something. Do, re, mi, fa, so. What happens if I talk loud? Okay, that's going to distort. Let's make sure that level's down. Let's go to System Settings and turn it down about halfway. What happens? Let's turn it down quite a bit. What happens if I talk loud? What happens if I talk loud? Let me turn it back up. So if I use that, I hear a bit of crunchiness when I'm using this knob. I prefer to control the volume on the computer. I think that's going to be a better move for you. The other thing that I notice is that the rejection is quite good. So if you look on the box, here you'll see that it's called cardioid, and what that means is that the microphone is supposed to not hear as good from the sides and from the back, and I can definitely hear that happening. Now, this is something that people don't get sometimes. They buy a new microphone, they're just starting out, and they say, oh, the mic's awesome, I can hear everything. You actually don't really want that. You want this. So with the cardioid, like if you've got a fan or an air conditioner or traffic noises, you try and put that stuff sort of in this area of the microphone and the thing that you want to record in this area of the microphone. And the idea is that it hears the thing you want to record much better than the things that you don't want. So especially if you're working at home, that can be advantageous. And really, in most professional situations, that's what's used most of the time. So let's give Fifine credit for that one. Let's talk about intelligibility. Intelligibility is how clear it is and how easy to understand. I think it's super high. So for speaking, podcasts, stuff like that, I think this is going to be a really, really good choice. Let's talk about singing. It's actually not desirable to be super bright when you're singing. So let's rate this for singing. I would say for the price point and as a first microphone, it's super clear. You're going to be able to use it. I like that. In certain contexts, I think it's going to come across as a little bit brittle. But let's understand this. Don't let your budget stand in the way of your creativity. If that makes sense to you, just drop a comment and say creativity wins, because that's the most important thing. So right now I'm going to switch to the audio coming off of the camera. Now, granted, I'm a couple feet away, but that's normal. That's how far a mic for a camera would be. And in this case, you'd want to use the mic quite closely. So let's switch to this microphone. So this is what it sounds like on this mic. And you can hear, if I was doing a podcast or a YouTube, that the sound of this, I think, would be quite a bit more engaging. So conclusion, it actually doesn't suck. I mean, this is a cheap microphone. The microphones used in studios are like 25, 40 times the price of this. And this is doing okay. I would say for a first microphone for singing, good choice. Don't let your budget stand in the way. Be creative. For a podcast, for video conferencing, I think it's a winner. So the question of, do I want one? So fine. You can't spell, but you make a pretty good microphone. I'm keeping it.